Hello and welcome back to the Shadow Systems COVID Isolation Station. I'm your host, Trevor Rowe, and today's installment is going to be a deep dive into the CR920 subcompact pistol. Today I have my lovely assistant, Mrs. T. Rowe, who's providing the camera work and caregiving, and so she'll be here with us today as well as we go through the CR920. CR stands for covert roll. Covert meaning this is a gun for when you really need a smaller gun to carry, okay? Obviously, we would love to all have a full-size gun if we should need a gun, but that's not always possible. And so in those times when you need something a little more versatile, a little smaller, this is maybe the option for you. The gun I have here is a combat optic slide. So this is the more basic slide with our optic cut. The optic cut fits kind of the current generation of micro dot sights. So Shield RMS or the Holosun 507K, and there's more and more coming on the market. It will not fit the Trichicon RMR-SC or whatever they call their little baby sight. They put their holes in an odd location, and unfortunately that those holes actually overlap with where everybody else puts the holes for a micro sight, and it just wasn't really feasible. So that's what this gun will fit. We still, of course, have our bright tritium front, blacked out rear. The slides have front and rear serrations, and the frames, of course, have the same sort of shadow features that you're used to. So, oh, it's time for me to take my... Okay. The same kind of frame features that you guys are used to, which would be, of course, texture wrapped around the panels, front and back. We extended the skirt down a little bit in the back. This is kind of one of the features of the frame that I think really helps with controllability. You've probably heard it by now. The goal was to have a subcompact gun that's actually fun to shoot, which are pretty rare. And so this gun feels a lot like a full-size handgun. And one of the reasons is how we designed the back strap and where it sort of stops on your hand. As far as the size of the gun, I should mention that really quickly. So this size is very much in keeping with sort of the profile of guns like a Smith Wesson Shield or a Glock 43. And when I say Shield, I mean the single column one, the smaller guns. So this is definitely on the smaller size of a subcompact, but we do have a 10+1 magazine as the flush fit option and a 13+1 as the extended option. So we'll talk about the magazines a little more in a moment, and then also in a subsequent video. Okay, so back to the frame. So you've got your front strap that's got nice texture on it. You've got your side panels. You've got your thumb ledges on either side of the frame, so that you can, if you shoot thumbs forward, you have a place to put your thumb. And then we do have a beaver tail, what we again would kind of call our intelligently designed beaver tail, where we've kind of knocked the corners off so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space and print really badly, but it does protect your hand. This gun does also have a rail, which fits the kind of current generation of the new baby lights. So Surefire has one, Streamlight has one, and I think there's others that are coming on the market all the time. I'm sure we'll see more after SHOT Show. Let's see, the barrel is the same kind of spiral fluted barrel that you're used to. So 416 stainless steel barrel with spiral fluted machining on it. We did not machine pockets on the sides of the barrel just because we need a little more chamber thickness on a smaller gun like this. The recoil spring assembly is a stainless steel guide rod. Now it is a dual spring assembly because you don't have a lot of space to work with, but it is a stainless steel guide rod inside there, okay? Other than that, it's, you know, again, very much a shadow kind of gun in terms of its feel. The trigger pull is a little bit heavier. We do 4.5 to 5 pounds on this gun. Flat face trigger as you're used to. And there is no interchangeable backstrap on these guns. I want to point that out. When you have a backstrap that's this short, you don't really have a lot of real estate to work with to really significantly change the angle of the gun. Like if you really wanted to change it that much, the backstraps would be pretty extreme in their orientation. So we went with one that's just kind of more of a neutral angle. So frankly, for all practical purposes, the gun's gonna point just fine. These shorter guns don't necessarily point as well anyway, right? So I promise you'll be satisfied with how the gun points, because all small guns just kind of point to the same place. Magazines. Let's talk about magazines. So I mentioned earlier we have a 10+1 flush fit magazine, okay? And you know, again, that looks kind of like that. So this gun, we sized it so it's just, you know, depending on what kind of pants you wear, it is possible to pocket carry this gun. So if you do have, you know, a pocket holster and kind of larger size pockets, you can pocket carry this gun if that's what you're into. But it is designed more to be small. I think sometimes some of the subcompacts are getting pretty big. A lot of it's like, you know, people want to have the capacity and advertise the capacity or whatever. You know, we went with the 10+1 and a gun that I think is a little more concealable. Okay, so then you put the 13+1 magazine in, and this is pretty cool. The front strap on the magazine matches up to the texture on the front strap of the pistol. So you have the you know, the same nice aggressive texture where your pinky finger would land, and so the gun really feels kind of like a full-size handgun when you put the magazine base pad on there. Okay, it is the same magazine tube. Okay, and this base pad actually is a patent-pending design. We'll go into more detail on that. This is actually a pre-production prototype that doesn't really have all the features in it yet, but we'll go into more detail on how the magazine base pad works at some point, because it's pretty slick. But yeah, you do get 13+1, and again, it's just a little bit, you know, it's just a little tiny bit longer so that you have a place for your finger, and the gun feels really awesome with the magazine base pad on there. We are going to sell the base pad separately, so if you do want to just have 2 of the larger capacity magazines, you can do that, and you could just add it to this exact same tube. If you have one of the 10+1s, you add the base pad, you get your extra 3, okay? All right, so that is the CR920 pistol. It will be available with the Elite slide as well, which of course has the window cuts on it, the combat optic slide that you see here, and then we're also, because this is more of kind of a utilitarian gun, we are gonna bring back just the base combat model that has the flat slide here, no optic cut. So they kind of run, you know, street price starting at $679, going up to about $799 for the fully loaded version. All right, so that's the CR920 pistol here today at the COVID isolation station in Plano, Texas. I miss you guys at SHOT Show. Hoping to be there next year. In the meantime, guys, go check out the CR920. I think you're gonna like it.